The year was 2075, and the world was a vastly different place than it had been just a few decades earlier. Technology had advanced at a dizzying pace, creating wonders that seemed to defy the very fabric of reality. Hovercars zipped through the air, cities glimmered with neon lights, and artificial intelligence had woven itself into the very essence of daily life. Yet, beneath the surface of this gleaming utopia lay a darker truth, one that had been carefully concealed from the masses. It was a truth that had been revealed to a select few through a series of letters, each one a warning from the future. It all began with a young woman named Elara. She was a historian, fascinated by the past and driven by an insatiable curiosity about the world that had come before her. Elara spent her days poring over ancient texts, unraveling the mysteries of humanity's history. But her passion for the past took an unexpected turn when she stumbled upon a hidden archive, a dusty room tucked away in the depths of the National History Museum. Among the artifacts and relics, she found a small, unassuming box, its surface marred by time but still intact. Inside the box lay a collection of letters, each one dated from the year 2075. They were addressed to her, though she had no idea who had sent them or how they had found their way to her. The first letter was written in a hurried scrawl, the ink slightly smudged as if the writer had been in a rush. It read, "Dear Elara, if you are reading this, then you have found the letters. I cannot tell you how, but I know that you will. I am writing to you from the year 2075, a time when our world is on the brink of collapse. We have made choices that have led us down a dark path, and I'm afraid it is too late to turn back. But perhaps, if you heed our warnings, you can change the course of history. There are 3 things you must know. 1. The climate crisis has reached a point of no return. The oceans are rising, and entire cities have been swallowed by the sea. The air is thick with pollution, and the natural world is dying. 2. The divide between the rich and the poor has widened beyond imagination. The wealthy have retreated into fortified enclaves, while the rest of humanity struggles to survive in the ruins of what was once a thriving society. 3. Technology, once a beacon of hope, has become a tool of oppression. Surveillance drones patrol the skies, monitoring our every move. Privacy is a relic of the past, and freedom has become an illusion. Please, Elara, do not ignore this message. The future is not set in stone, and you have the power to change it. Yours. A friend from 2075. Elara's heart raced as she read the letter. She had always believed that the past could inform the present, but this was different. This was a direct line to the future, a glimpse into a world she had only imagined. As she continued to read the letters, each one more urgent than the last, she felt a growing sense of responsibility. The warnings were dire, but they also held a glimmer of hope. If she could act on the knowledge she had gained, perhaps she could alter the course of history. The second letter was more detailed, outlining specific events that had led to the catastrophic state of the world. It described the gradual neglect of environmental policies, the rise of corporate power, and the complacency of the populace. Elara learned of protests that had once filled the streets, voices raised in unison against the impending doom, only to be silenced by a government more concerned with maintaining control than protecting its citizens. The writer urged her to educate others, to awaken the sleeping masses before it was too late. With each letter, Elara felt the weight of the future pressing down on her. She began to take notes, meticulously cataloguing the warnings and the events that had transpired. She reached out to her colleagues, sharing the contents of the letters and urging them to join her in spreading the message. But as she did, she faced skepticism and disbelief. Many dismissed her claims as mere science fiction, a fanciful tale spun from the fabric of her imagination. It was disheartening, but Elara refused to give up. The third letter struck a chord deep within her. It spoke of a hidden technology, a means of time travel that had been developed in secret. The writer explained that it had been created as a last-ditch effort to save humanity, a way to send messages back to the past in hopes of altering the timeline. Elara's mind raced with possibilities. If she could harness this technology, she could not only warn others, but also take action herself. She could be the catalyst for change. Determined to uncover this hidden technology, Ilara delved deeper into her research. She scoured archives, interviewed scientists, and followed every lead she could find. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but her persistence paid off when she stumbled upon a clandestine group known as the Chrono Guardians. They were a collective of scientists and activists dedicated to preserving the timeline and preventing the catastrophic events foretold in the letters. Ilara was welcomed into their fold, and she quickly learned about the intricacies of time travel. The technology was complex, requiring immense energy and precision. The Guardians had developed a device capable of sending messages back through time, but they had yet to achieve the ability to physically transport someone. They explained that altering the past was fraught with peril. Even the smallest change could have unforeseen consequences. But Ilara was undeterred. She felt a sense of urgency, a calling to act before it was too late. As she trained with the Guardians, Ilara began to formulate a plan. She would use the letters as a guide, pinpointing key moments in history that had led to the dystopian future. Her first target was a pivotal environmental summit scheduled for 2025. It was a moment when world leaders would gather to discuss climate change and potential solutions. Ilara knew that if she could influence the decisions made at that summit, she could set a new course for the future. The day of the operation arrived, and Ilara stood before the time travel device, her heart pounding in her chest. The Guardians had equipped her with everything she needed: a small communication device to stay in contact with them, a carefully crafted identity to ensure she wouldn't raise suspicion, and, of course, the letters themselves. With a deep breath, she activated the device, and in an instant, she was enveloped in a kaleidoscope of colors, the sensation of time folding in on itself. When she emerged, she found herself standing in a bustling conference hall, the air thick with anticipation. Delegates from around the world mingled, exchanging ideas and opinions. Ilara felt a surge of adrenaline as she made her way through the crowd, her mind racing with the knowledge of what was to come. She had to find a way to get her message across without revealing her true identity. As the summit began, Ilara listened intently to the speeches being delivered. Some were hopeful, filled with promises of a greener future, while others were steeped in cynicism, dismissing the urgency of the crisis. It was during a break that she spotted a familiar face, a renowned environmentalist who had been one of the loudest voices advocating for change. Seizing the opportunity, Ilara approached him, her heart racing. "Excuse me, Dr. Reyes," she said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. "I have something important to share with you. It's about the future." Dr. Reyes raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "The future? What do you mean?" Ilara took a deep breath, knowing she had to tread carefully. "I come from a time where the decisions made here will have dire consequences. The climate crisis is worse than you can imagine. If we don't act decisively, we will lose everything." He studied her for a moment, skepticism etched on his face. "And how do you know this?" With a sense of urgency, Ilara pulled out the letters, showing him the first one. "I found these in the year 2075. They detail the consequences of our inaction. If you read them, you will understand." Dr. Reyes took the letter, his expression shifting from disbelief to concern as he read the words penned by a stranger from the future. This is alarming. But how can we trust this information? Because it's not just a warning, it's a chance to change the course of history. You have the power to influence the decisions made at this summit. If you can rally support for stronger environmental policies, we can alter the future. As they spoke, Ilara felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. She shared the contents of the other letters, detailing specific events and choices that had led to the catastrophic state of the world. Dr. Reyes listened intently, his expression shifting from skepticism to determination. "I can't promise anything," he said finally, "but I will do my best to share this information with my colleagues. We can't ignore the potential consequences." With a renewed sense of purpose, Elara returned to the conference, her heart pounding with hope. She had planted the seeds of change, but the journey was far from over. Over the next few days, she worked tirelessly, engaging with delegates, sharing her knowledge, and advocating for a united front against climate change. Her passion was infectious, and slowly but surely, she began to see a shift in the atmosphere. As the summit concluded, the delegates emerged with a renewed commitment to tackle the climate crisis. They announced a series of ambitious initiatives aimed at reducing carbon emissions, investing in renewable energy, and protecting vulnerable ecosystems. Elara felt a surge of triumph. She had played a part in shaping a new future, but as she prepared to return to her own time, a nagging doubt crept into her mind. Had she truly altered the course of history, or had she merely set in motion a different series of events that would lead to unforeseen consequences? The weight of her choices hung heavy on her heart as she activated the time travel device once more. When she returned to 2075, the world felt different. The air was cleaner, the skies clearer. The letters had worked. The warnings had been heeded. But as Elara stepped into the streets, she realized that change was not instantaneous. The journey ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, but she had ignited a spark of hope. As she continued her work with the Chrono Guardians, Elara understood that the future was a tapestry woven from countless threads, each decision, each action, a stitch in the fabric of time. The letters had been a bridge between past and future, a reminder that the choices made today would echo through the ages. And as long as there were those willing to listen, to learn, and to act, there was always a chance for redemption. In the years that followed, Elara became a beacon of hope, a voice for change in a world that had once seemed lost. She traveled the globe, sharing her knowledge and inspiring others to take action. The letters from 2075 became a symbol of resilience, a testament to the power of collective action and the belief that a better future was possible. As she looked back on her journey, Elara understood the true meaning of the warnings conveyed through those letters. They were not just dire predictions of doom. They were a call to arms, a reminder that the future was not predetermined. It was a canvas waiting to be painted, and each of us held a brush in our hands. The choices we made today would shape the world of tomorrow, and it was up to each of us to ensure that the masterpiece we created was one of hope, unity, and a deep respect for the planet we called home.